my first blowjob was
okay, damn. Well, here we go.
I know that everyone's just, all you do is talk about sex,
know,
but
look,
I did have a good
You
story.
try to talk to women about work, and they just want to tell you.
I don't want to hear about
when the first blowjob was.
I wanted you to say like a funny place you worked. I didn't hear like the whole backstory of your.
Sorry.
No, I was intrigued, even though I literally don't remember one detail from it. But
did you work at an ice cream place? Now that I could see you at Baskin Robbins.
no, okay. First of all, I was not a cheerleader.
Dude, I would have bought 1,000 scoops. I would have let you scoop it with your hands.
Yeah,
okay?
that's so nice. I really appreciate that. Like I
was
remember
like,
the
Can I taste
first.
some of it off your back? That's what I would have said. You know. Sorry, that's out of line. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's so nice.
Thank you.
Want to.
Thank you.
I like when people allude to wanting to have sex with me. I think it's like very nice when it's done in a way that you're just like, when they're just like jokingly saying it, like that means a lot hearing that from you, because I obviously that's like the struggle of my life, I think, is like wanting to be fuckable and also wanting to be funny and fun and be and then people being like, God, she's trying too hard to look fuckable. It's just like, I didn't discover that I was fuckable until very late in life.
Right.
And I also am not married, so who gives a shit and whatever. But what I was going to say about that is like, also, I even hate being like, my first blowjob, because people are going to write in comments like, all she does is talk about sex. She's just trying to shoehorn a sex story. But this, I actually think it's interesting.
Did you ever do what's that thing? Sugar Girls or whatever?
What's that?
Sugar Babes?
Sugar baby?
Yeah.
Theo, I don't know who you think I am.
Yeah, sorry.
I cannot have sex with someone I let
Yeah.
alone. I'm
Oh, yeah, tell me
very
about
weird
it.
about sex. I know, I'm fascinated by your stuff with it as well, because I feel like I look at sugar babies or like OnlyFans girls and like thoughts and girls that are just like porn stars. I like love them all, and I don't know like. But I'm still weird about putting that kind of stuff out there. And
Yeah. Oh, I remember first. Yeah, when I even got that first blowjob, I even remembered asking my buddy to go with me because I was nervous. You know.
yeah, I mean, I guess guys are nervous too. I mean, I would assume you guys are more driven, but girls are like, I've got to get this out of the way. I didn't give a blowjob till I was a junior in college, and all my friends, I was like, they were all having sex relationships. I was just like, I haven't even had sex. I gotta blow someone. So I was just like,
Who was it?
it was a comedian. That's the interesting part. I can't say who it was, but it was. See, I was such a prude.
Was he tall or short?
Medium?
I bet I know who it is.
I'll tell you who it is off air, but I can't say it on air.
I don't want to know off air.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I'll tell you whatever you want to know because I would trust you, but I respect that you don't care.
Yeah, I don't like knowing some of that kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I actually.
I like more mystery.
Well,
I like to be able to imagine you blowing a couple of different people. That it could
I
be.
have. Like, I mean, my roster isn't crazy of people you know, but like, but that's the thing. Everyone's gonna be like, she's such a whore. I literally.
I
have
don't
not
think
had
you're a
sex
whore.
in-
You're also an adult. It's not like you're a child who's like sneaking into people's houses and
But I just
fucking them.
don't
You
ever
are a
wanna
regular adult and you can have sex.
I know, but if I were having a lot of sex, I would talk about it. It seems like I do because I talk about sex a lot, but I don't. Like, I haven't had sex in 2 years, and like,
What?
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get right into that. Here's a woman right here that has a question. She's not doing well either. What's up?
So what I've always noticed is a lot of female comics will start out like their first like big hit gig is like a lot of sexual based humor, and then as their gigs continue, it's like a play off of the same gig. And what pressures do you feel, I guess, as like a female comic of like, if your humor is not sexual based, like, do people think you're not funny anymore? Or like, what is that trend about? I'm curious. Obviously not a comic, but it's something I've noticed, with female comics, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of them, but when there are, always
about
sexual
sex.
based.
Yeah.
So, just curious.
Does it feel like that as a female
thanks.
comic?
Thank
And,
you,
gang, gang.
sweet
That's
girl.
a great question. Gang,
It's a
gang. And I
great-
appreciate your service over there too. I actually did a show at RAF Lake and Heath one time.
It's a great backhanded question. So what she was referencing is what a lot of people say is like all they talk about is sex, and it's true because, I mean, there's this documentary called Hysterical about female comics, and it's the last thing I'm sure a lot of people want to watch, and I'm in it, and I did not expect this to be so fucking good and moving. Like, I watched it and cried at my own story. Like, I don't cry, and I was like, I saw myself as like, oh my God, you're such a scared little girl who doesn't understand her worth. And then I watched all these female comics that I'm friends with in this documentary. It's so well done, Theo. You will actually really like it. And it's one of I love documentaries. It's really well done, and I would not. I'm in a lot of shitty.
And is it a
documentaries, and I
real
wouldn't promote
documentary
it.
that's on? We can see
Well, I'm
it
in-
somewhere now.
Well, I'm yeah, it's called Hysterical, and it's FX.
Okay.
And on Hulu. But honestly, this is not. If I wasn't in it, I'd be promoting it. Everyone I've told to
Sprite.
watch it, who you would think would be like not into that, people have overheard me listening to it. But anyway, I watch all of my friends on there being like, what drove them to stand up? Judy Gold, Rachel Feinstein, Sherry Shepard, Margaret Cho, who else? Bonnie McFarlane, Marina Franklin, Fortune Feimster. It's Lisa
Griffin
Lampanelli.
made it in?
Yeah,
Jesus.
she's in it. I love her. But we all, and then the girl that stood up to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was at a fucking open mic or the show this girl was doing, and she called him out. It was so brave. It's fucking good. But my point is, female comics talk about sex. At least it's presented in that documentary, because we were like silenced about our bodies and like controlled about it for so long that when you talk, you want to talk about like what you've been told you can't talk about. But for me, when it comes to sex, I've done Fallon, like stand up on Fallon 4 or 5 times at this point. I can do clean material. I don't have to talk about sex. I don't talk about sex in any of that. And I've done tons of like squeaky things, and people go, "Oh, she's filthy." The thing is, I talk about sex because I like it. I'm not trying to talk about sex with you today because I am like trying to be like sexual, or because I don't think I'm funny about anything else. It's interesting and no one's talking about it. People still think, oh, everything's been talked about. It's like, no, it hasn't. I'm still encountering things that I'm like, I need someone to process this with me. And for me, that is saying it on stage and having people laugh and go, or have girls go, oh my God, that happens to me too. I needed to hear that. And like empowering girls. I just really want to do with stand up, talk about sex, because I want men to know how we're feeling, and I want to understand how men are feeling. So I want to express what I think men are feeling and hear if that's right or not.
Right.
And like, and make people feel better about it, because the reason I talk about sex is because I'm so fucking scared of sex, and like, so also want it, but also don't want it. And it's like the most interesting thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, sex is an interesting thing. It's really like it's like, I mean, it's how we get here also. It's like you don't even exist if somebody doesn't have sex, you know? So
that's what, yeah.
The fact that it has so much magic in it, I
would
think
be a
is
sex
pretty...
therapist if I wasn't a comedian. If I didn't have like talent in wanting
But
to
do you
perform, I
think,
would
though,
still work in the sex field.
Do you think that women don't get broad enough with their topics, though?
No, I think talk about whatever the fuck you want. You know, like anything I do now, that's what we were talking about, like hobbies and stuff, and feeling you waste time. When I do something now that feels like, if I masturbate now, let's say, or do something that I'm like, I'm trying to think of another, or get a massage. Like I'm getting a foot massage after this one. Really, I maybe should work on some stuff I have due.
Yeah.
But it's like those things, it's not a waste. Like I want it. Or smoking weed when I probably shouldn't. Being like, instead of being like, you're smoking weed, this is so bad. I'm just like, listen, I have a life where I choose what I get to do. And so if I'm doing it, I must want to do it. It must be serving me in some way. So just cut the guilt,
right,
and just enjoy it. So that I have that approach now with sex stuff. Like I will talk about whatever fascinates me, but sex still fascinates me until it doesn't. When my libido drops, when I'm doing stand-up when I'm 60, I probably won't be talking about fucking.
Right. Well, we can always check then, you know. Yeah, I think it's tough sometimes. I don't like talking about it because it just seems kind of vulgar to me sometimes.
Yeah,
I think.
and that's like...
So I like thinking about it sometimes, you know, but I don't like really... I guess sometimes I don't like talking about it, but I'm also like...
It's the vulgarity that makes you go, but then that makes you feel shame about the
you're
sex
right.
stuff. It breeds shame.
You're right. Hope you enjoyed that video, and you can watch another. And you can watch this one, you can watch this one. Different options, different choices. Some guy just brings you one option, not this guy. 2 options. Watch one, this one or this one.